Alright, sorry, I forgot to delete my video from yesterday. It was almost close to an hour. Right. So anyway, like I was saying about Kim Kardashian and Mr. West, right? Well, I think the problem there was the Paris thing, right? You know, I don't know why the guys hung out for 40 minutes, right? But there you are with one of the biggest sex symbols in the world, right, too, right? And they just locked her in the bathroom, right? Okay. Problem is, if you get caught, right, you know, usually when you're burglarizing a house, you don't hang out, right? No. You grab the stuff and leave, right? Well, I know Kanye's mom thinking he gave them all blowjobs or something, right? I mean, and that's what I mean. See, if you're a burglar, you don't want to be in there more than 5-10 minutes. Anyway, you get the stuff and leave. It's 40 minutes, right? They're making her give her a blowjob, right? Is what probably Kanye's thinking, right? Right. But it's still rape, Kanye. You know that, right? It's not Kim's choice. Rape ain't about sex, even if it's pleasing to the male, right? It's about power. And they had the power over Kim to make her do what they wanted her to do. And she's afraid to tell, because see, you can't prove a blowjob, right? That don't leave DNA like, But I still know what rape is, right? Kanye, don't you? It ain't no different in the Clockwork Orange, right? You know. So they did do it vaginally, but still. But see, they can't leave DNA on her, or they could have made her swallow. I don't know, but right. That's the problem too. Well, Kanye again, right. He's the one tripping out and talking about the Jews and all that stuff, right? Even I know better than to do that. Right. Now, I'm trying to educate him in the divine name using Eliyahu and Moshe. They know what I mean, right? And why they forgot the name. It never said you couldn't use it, but had someone write it down if you couldn't use it, and that's your little problem yourself, right? Because if you don't say it, how can you be saved? That's what Paul's asking you, right? Now, you either need the name of the Son or you need the name of the Father, but something's got to give, right? That's what he was pointing out, too. If you don't know how to call on the name anymore, how can you be saved, right? And if you don't believe in him whose name you're supposed to call upon, what are you doing, right? You can't call it Lord, even Baal means Lord. And Baalim is Lord plural, Lords, right? See, like there's Adon and Adonai, right? Well, there's Baaladai, right? Baalnai is what? My Lord, in their language, right? It's the NY or the IY after, right? Baali, right? Whatever. E means what? My, right? Eliyahu, right? It's ELYHW. Now, what's the divine name? YHW? H. How's Sarah's name now? SRH. SRH. What SAR? What, SR? With an A before the R, right? So you don't want to know the divine name. You don't want to say it. God does that too. That's a warning from a prophet, right? Who figured out the divine name, by the way, by himself. So my job is to warn you. Hey, God knows you're playing games with this name, so be careful. You don't go to heaven if you don't know the name, right? I don't know where you go. I don't know where you go. But Jesus talked about two places. One's called paradise and one's called torment, right? And he talked of the rich man going to torment. Now, I also had a weird dream about Mr. Trump last night, right? But it was kind of more professional, right? For some reason, I was escorting him somewhere or something, right? Basically, I was at the front door of his house as if I was going to go out somewhere with him, right? As if he invited me over or something, right? Something like that. Well, anyway, I was waiting on him for some reason, right? And he was getting something together or whatever, right? And we were going to go off in an SUV or something, right? Whatever. That was about basically the dream. Also involved some milk. A gallon of milk or something. Weird one, but anyway. I don't know. That was the gist of the dream, though, right? Nothing too weird, but I told you. Uh-oh. Miss Trainer. With Sean Paul. Now, what I'm talking about is fantasy with Kim, though. If I was to have a shot at it, I would do something different with her. I would leave DNA behind because I don't want to jail. That's what I was saying. I was joking there now, too, right? That's the point, too. But I know I'm getting no stuff for a while either, right? Maybe 15 to 30 years anyway, right? She's the last piece of pussy I'm going to see, so I'm going to get some before I go. I'm just saying. I wouldn't actually burglarize her or rob her or anything, but so that would never really happen, right? But I wouldn't just, right? Fuck her, I would make love to her because that's the last piece of pussy I'm going to see, right? And it would take 40 minutes. For me, right? Because I would do her front and behind. I'll make her ride me and then, right? With the gun in my face, but right? I know I'd have to do that too, but I know at least make sure she somewhat enjoys it. Since I'm French too. That means I'm going to lick pussy and because I know she ain't been with Kanye no out idiot. She's been in Paris for a little bit and he's in New York, so it's free selling. And see, I'm gonna buzz that pussy, I'm gonna lick it and and it's gonna be one of those, that shit feels so good, she might not wanna fuck Kanye again. That's the whole point to it, right? I'm just teasing now, right? I'm joking, right? And that's what makes it a joke. You say, I'm joking, but I wouldn't really do that to her, but because I respect her too much, right? Right. I know what she's doing. Some people put down, but I don't put it down because it's just part of life, sex, right? And see, that's the whole point Jesus is saying, right? He might have had sex with the woman at the well to prove there's nothing wrong with sex, right? See, the disciples were self-righteous. Even John didn't tell you that they had sex that night, too, right? If they did. Well, if someone tells you your love life, why do you bring that subject up? You're not wanting to explore that with her yourself, right? If I know you have 5 husbands and living with a dude, and I tell you I'm also the Messiah, what you gonna do? What you gonna think I'm into, right? You. Right? And then she went and told the men, right? And they all kind of went around him and got to know him for 2 days, and she kind of like Mary, right? But kind of different too, right? Magdalene, that is, right? Mary Magdalene is the one who anointed his feet with oil, with perfume, right? Maybe twice, right? And she also the woman at Simeon's house, right? And then at the cross, right? Those are still two different times. I think one might have happened in the first year or after the second Passover, right? And the one we caught in the act of adultery. Right. See, the problem is the disciples aren't, what's the word, novelists, right? They're fishermen trying to write down stuff about Jesus, right? And I think some of it was edited, right, Peter? He's the editor, by the way. Because he couldn't handle it all. He probably freaked out if Jesus was female because of the witch of Endor, right? And I'm worried he might have tried to burn his body or something. Get rid of the evidence, right? I don't know how messed up Peter was, but he's pretty messed up, right? And I don't think he even thought of him being both or a druggist. That's not common, right? All the Jews were expecting a male Messiah, right? Well, see, all the being seeing him on the cross would know, even John, right? But the only one who would say something was John. He said something before he finished writing the book of Revelation within the first chapter, right? And there's not many words that word can be associated in the Greek anyway. It's not mastoid. Is that a Greek word? No. No. But mastos is mastos, and it's associated with the rest of a woman, not a man. Not a man. This definition is 3149. I gotta remember them. I know that one, right? And that's the point. I also play with Ken's booze, because like I said, they're nice booze, but whatever. And I'll buzz her boobs too, right? And then kiss her neck, and then blow her ears, and then kiss her mouth. She wouldn't have a choice. But she doesn't know, but right, in the fantasy, she thought, right? In reality, she does, and I ain't worried about it, right? Mm-hmm. But she's Kim fucking Kardashian West. She can have any man she wants, technically, unless they're afraid to be with her because of Kanye, but I'm not. But other men might be, I don't know, right? I'm just saying. Well, I mean, she wouldn't even be interested in me. It's not up to me, right? And I don't really kidnap women and rape them or break into their palaces and rape them, right? I've never done that, never will. I just don't want her to. I'm trying to figure out what Kanye's problem is, right? Mainly. Well, the problem is most burglaries are smash and grab, right? And she said they were there for 40 minutes, right? That's the problem, right? Even Kanye's wondering why the hell they're there for so long, right? If they're just there, or, they're at least probably discussing it, but for 40 minutes, or they argue about who's going to go first or something, right? I don't know. Right? Something's going on, right? Unless they think they have that kind of time, too. I mean, come on, usually a burglar will get what they need, what is available in the place too, and leave. It's called a smash and grab, right? And that's quick. You don't stay in the store long because the police are on the way, right? Unless they knew they had to time, right? But then why are they staying longer? What are they trying to get from Kim? I mean, all they can get is her stuff. Or a blowjob or sex, right? Those are only the two other things they can get besides that, right? And she ain't gonna want to let you know they fucked her, raped her, right? And it's rape even if they just Even if she talked him into a blowjob or something, right? None of it's consensual once they're in the home and she don't have a choice, right? But I'll still be with her even if they did, but I know it's not her fault, right? I'm trying to help Kanye deal with it too, because he's the one, or she's having to divorce him because he's acting kind of crazy, right? Well, she probably don't want no one to know, right? That's embarrassing for that many men to rape you, right? Was it 5, right? Right. And see, what's 8 divided by 5, right? Most men can come within 1 to 5 minutes, right? Or less, or less. And it's called a gangbang if there's more than one, right? And she wouldn't want you to know that. No, she wouldn't. It's embarrassing, and you know, right? Even if it would add to their sentence, that don't change the humiliation of it, right? But it's worth for Kanye. I know he's supposed to stand by his woman, you know, right? Because that's not her fault. I know. And see, if she was the mom woman, I would try to stand by her. It wasn't her fault not to make love to her and treat her like a woman, right? But I would give her also a chance to process it, right? If that many men raped her, she's going to need time to process it too, right? Well, I seen the Clockwork Orange, right? And that's the problem, right? Right? And the point, you know, right? And if it's 5 men for 5 minutes, that's 25 minutes, right? They had her for 40, right? It's kind of like the coward of the county. I don't know where it is. 2. I know. I told you they turned to Becky and there was 3 of them. Remember that? Right. But the hardest thing is to admit you were raped. I know you want to block it out too, or block it out, right? But honey, they're there for 40 minutes. It'll take 5 to 10 minutes to get this stuff, and usually they're supposed to be out of there, right? Unless they knew they had the time for the sex, right? And I don't know, I know because of coincidences, right? And the amount of time they're there, right? That's not normal for a burglar to hang out for 40 minutes with a pretty girl, right? And no, they didn't just put you in the bathroom. They had sex with you in the bathroom, right? You're the one having the problem with the bathroom, right? Who are you, Kim? And denial is a big thing about rape, too, right? Then what does it have to do with me going to the bathroom, right? Or with the girl in the salon, even, right? And I'm not the one to rape you, right? They did. I'm just not dumb enough to not think they wouldn't have raped you in the 40-minute period, right? And there were 5 of them, right? You know. With Becky, there were 3 of them, and that's a made-up story. You know, it is. So was the Clockwork Orange, but you know, there are points where there's real sex with Malcolm and some of the girls, right? Do they fast forward through it? I know that, but they're really having sex. They really have sex, right? On camera. Well, the reason they're fast forwarding through it is so it don't get an X rating, right? That's why. Well, they're really having sex. Now, one I'm not sure of is Billy Bob and Halle Berry, but Either way, you know, it's between him and her, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But still, would you have sex with someone for a role if you thought that role would be good enough to win you an Emmy? Well, or the Oscar, right? Which is what she won it for, right? Right. But if he did, he's a gentleman, right? If he didn't, well, I don't know. Plus, he was married to Angelina Jolie. That's the question. That's the question, right? And she had a husband too, right? So, so you judge by sight, not by faith, right? And that could be why they busted up, but that don't mean they had actual sex. It's only Angelina or Billy Bob and Hollywood, that, right? So really, it's still none of your business, right? But like I said, people are still speculating what happened in the 40 minutes, honey, right? And most guys can come within 5 to 10 minutes, and they're not going to just right, hang out, right, after burglarizing the place unless they know they got the time to hang out, right? And of course, denial means you're trying to block it out, right? I'm not trying to make you relive it either, but I know better, right? And most guys can come within 5 minutes if they're fresh. Only thing you might want to argue about is who's first. I know. Right. Well, how do I know? When I ain't had sex in a while, even with Molly Z, and she was on top. Within 2 minutes, I came, right? But that was the only time, and the reason is, right, we didn't have no birth control at the house, right, or the apartment, so I went to Walmart to get the birth control, but then we didn't need no more sex, but then took her to Waffle House, get her a little something to eat, right? See, I don't just hump a woman and leave a woman, right? But then she called it rape because I said it was a relationship. I don't know what's wrong with her. But she was raped, but you can't be on top and say you're raped. See, that's the point, right? She did say someone raped her in high school or something, but no, if you're on top, you can't say you're raped then, right? That's consensual sex, right? And we had each other, the wife and husband, but we didn't commit, right, afterwards, right? She quit talking to me and I quit talking to her, right? Because once I told Mom she called it rape when she was on top, she didn't want me to associate with Molly anymore either, right? And the more she kept staying away from me, the more I couldn't talk to her, right? So if you can tell, like I said, even with Daphne, I can tell it was over, right? So I moved back to Vegas, right? Now, the problem with Sheena was we're on 2 different ships, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on, unless it was the 2 witness thing, and like I said, right? Well, I can't have a wife on 1 or 2 witnesses. Even Enoch had a wife. Moses, too, right? The one we're not sure of is Elisha, but yet he's sent to a widow with a son, right? She don't have a husband. And he don't have a wife. Why was he sent to her during the famine, right? For 3.5 years. And lived with her. And raised her son from the dead, didn't he? Now, if you remember Rachel, Joseph was fine, but Benjamin was the son of her pain, right? And she died in childbirth. Plus, she stole her father's idol. And they both cursed the person to die who stole the idol. That's the father and the husband. Though if they knew she had an idol, they wouldn't have said such idle words, right? And plus, I think she might have been RH Standard because she was very pretty, right? She wasn't plain like Leah, but she was probably the brown hair, brown eyes, though I don't mind women like that either. She probably had green eyes and black hair. It was kind of pale skin, right? Why do you think Jacob took a liking to her? Instantly, love at first sight, baby. That's real too. That's what I thought was going on with Michelle, right? Was love at first sight, right? But I think he was just trying to beg me from the store too, right? And you can't do that by just shooting me, right? You can't shoot me for no reason. You have to have a real reason. So I think we went to the bathroom, and then after we came out, you shot me when I went back to get my nails done, right? In front of everybody, too. And then you went back to do my nails when they resurrected, right? And again, I forgive you, but you shouldn't have done that. There was a cover, right? But still, even if, what do you say, we argued about it for 20 minutes each time? I mean, or did we have the sex first and then argue about it for a few minutes, then you shot me and then I healed, right? Within 1 to 2 minutes, right? Well, either it took 20 minutes to heal me or 2 minutes, right? That's But you're not wanting to witness him, are you? I don't know, right? But I would want to comfort you, right? Unlike Kanye, I guess, but I would want to make you feel good like Halle Berry. That's all I mean, that's all I mean. Not saying you got to, not saying you want to, not saying that, not saying nothing. Though it is a movie, right? Like I said, life can be a movie sometimes, right? That's why people sometimes get mad with these fucking Hollywood stars, because they're fucking telling their life and they can't do nothing about it, right? And it's hard for them to tell their own life. That's why I let Chris Walker write the book for me, right? A little bit, right? Couldn't quite do it myself, right? And he's my ghostwriter, right? Like in the movie Ghostwriter with Ewan McGregor and Pierce Brosnan, right? Well, that was his ghostwriter, right? It's an autobiography written by someone who knows how to write a book. That's what he did for me. Yeah. Why do you think I'm trying to tell him, look, we got to come clean on that shit, right? He even interviewed me and, no, right? You can find it on the internet, too, right? So that's who did the book. And he's what you call a ghostwriter then, right? Now, he didn't put the jawbreaker right, like I said. What really happened, Chris, is he got stuck in the throat, right? That part's correct, but it was the whole jawbreaker. Not a little piece like in the book. The whole fucking thing. Okay. And those are harder to get out with the whole fucking thing. You made a little small piece out of the whole fucking thing. Was stuck in my throat, right? Which sounds more severe, right? He kind of acted like I had this love affair with him, too. I don't. It was just the one. I don't really eat him a lot either, right? So, I don't know. I mean, it was good storytelling, but it was kind of his own words there. It had nothing to do with what actually happened, right? And he kind of like made Mom seem like she didn't know what to do at all, right? But he was kind of running around. That probably helped a little bit, right? But the thing is, I think I was kind of up the whole time when it popped out. That's weird. That's the weird part. When she said, "My God, help me," by the way, she was telling the story. And I don't know if she was holding me over a little bit, but somewhat kind of at an angle, but exactly what was going on. But when she said, "My God, help me," that's when it popped out of my mouth. As if magic, right? Now, in the movie Jawbreaker, what killed the girl in the car was they wrapped it around her mouth and she couldn't breathe, right? That's in Rose McGowan, right? And I forgot who played the victim, but they put her in the truck and put a jawbreaker in her mouth. It's called Jawbreaker, right? Now, do I like Harvey Weinstein? Tiny bit, but I'm prettier. I'm not saying Rose likes to be called a Harvey or don't. I don't know. either. But I know a Rose, but she was black, right? She was my black Rose. Well, I had a few white, a few black, a few mixed, a few... One Asian, I think, right? Redhead, right? But a plump one, right? I don't use the word fat, right? Myself, right? But let's say curvy, right? Well, I like Meghan Trainor's and Nicki Minaj's curves, but right? And Cardi B's, but right? I don't mind curvy and I don't mind thin, right? But it's not up to me. I keep telling you that too, right? You gotta wait, and I'm waiting, and it's not about Kim, it's not about Nicki, it's not about Cardi, it's not about right, any of them, right? You don't push an issue either. See, I'm more praying for Kim to find the man of her dreams so I can find the woman of mine. See, that's what it means. Now, for a single, we can mingle, but it's still not my choice. And I can't go to New York and ever go to Kim's circle, because that's not even permissible, right, for me, right? So I stay in Georgia, I have my own business, and I pray for her to get over whatever happened in Paris, right? That's all you can do. I want to support her as a fan, not as a stalker, right? Though, like I said, it is weird that my Playboy issue with her in it is missing, you know? But that was before that, or... See, I got here in 2013, right? But why would she fuck me to get the Playboy? That's the question, but... yeah, I would still do the same thing. I would buzz her pussy and make her cheat me on time, right? If she wanted it that badly, okay. I'm just too... Yeah. I guess, I mean... The magazine is missing that, right? And only hers, right? And I had a collection of series, and it's kind of odd. July says 1995, though, right? And that's the one with Bali in it. And I'm either missing September or August, right? And I either got missing August and then September, and I think she might have been in the August or she might have been in the October. I'm not sure which one, but if Kim was in the August 96 or 2006, mine's missing. Here's the missing, and it was just in the drawer. Unless one of these who moved the dresser into the house took it, but. Why, Kim's edition, right? But see, then she blacked me out over the magazine, right? Because you don't want him to tell her that she fucked him for the magazine, probably, right? And she was married to Kanye. But like I told you, Jesus forgave the woman caught in the act of adultery. Why? Because he would stone her. And I wouldn't charge you with adultery. I was making love to you. What you were doing to me, but make love to me. I only make love to you as a adoring fan. And what does it matter if I had it anyway, right? It's part of a collection anyway. Like I said, when you take one of the collection, that's going to be the one the person notices, right? It's like the woman with the missing coin, right? She got the 99, but she knows one's missing, and that's the one she's going to be concerned with, right? Not the ones you got, right? That are still in the part of the collection, right? It's the one that's missing, right? You're going to look for, right? There's only one person who would really be bothered by it, and that's Kim herself. Why would her sisters care that I can see her naked anytime? Kim would. I know. But you can't get it by playing hooky with him, right? You gotta go to the house and fucking for it, right? And he wouldn't say no. We didn't say no, did we, Kim? But see, you're trying to black me out too, and that was before Paris, right? Before Paris, right? Mm-hmm. But Kanye found out too. Oh no, he didn't. I like that. No, he didn't. My girlfriends taught me what to do, didn't they? Yeah. But I forgive you, like I said, so right. Well, that's Kanye blacked me out, like I said, right? See, either you or him. Either you or him, I mean. If it wasn't you, it was him. And see, he's mad with the Jews because I figured out the divine name and he couldn't give me. Kanye. They that call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Why? Want to try it yourself? You can't. Someone tries to shoot you. We know you like guns, don't you, Kanye? I don't even own one now, man. You both kind of do nothing like that. But it's also weird with the last kid too, yeah. And you know, what's the word? Hype. Hype is sometimes better than reality to a rap star, right? Right. You don't want it known, right? Even if Kim was with me and got pregnant either, right? And would make her hide it. In fact, you don't know they're not all shames, right? And he has the problem, right? Kanye, right? But some people don't know how to let go, right? I'm like Shane, I'm like Shane, right? And it was never really what I wanted, right? There's a lot of tension, right? Because some people just don't make good husband material. They don't, right? But, water under the bridge. Right, Kanye? Well, if the man's still alive, she's still my wife, idiot. Best respect. And I forgive you for attempting to murder me ever, but you don't own her. God does. God does. And she can change her mind. It's called a divorce. It's called a divorce. Ooh. Another spinal cord. I'm going to show you something. I just saw it. I think that was it. I know. Doing something unholy. But that's a what? Devil thing, right? That's a judgment thing, Kanye, right? What ain't? What ain't? Chest, neck, right? See? See how it's right. A circuit board for your little phone there, right? Now you see how they're vertebrae separated, right? I don't know. I'm trying to pause it. Right? Alright, there we go. Right. Now, see how it's pretty much even? Right. Mine ain't. And see, even my neck has a slant. That's what I'm trying to show you, right? I can feel it, right? There's supposed to be 7 vertebrae between here and here. See, I might be shorter than I was when I fell, right? But that would be a downward force, right? The windshield would collapse on my head, but it would still be at an angle, right? But a bat or a right? Exactly. Now see how it's still that's C1, C2, C3 looks a little awkward, right? C4, C5, C6, C7, right? Which is a little out of sight. But the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? The bottom right there is kind of, that's the shoulder and upper chest area, right? So you have more bones there, right? And the T1 is right below it, right? So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Right. Now you see his is further away. Mine's crushed down, right? If you remember correctly, right? I can at any time. I told you that, right? I know. And this is Metallica. Right. But like I said, right? Mm-hmm. There you go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Doing something unholy. Well. But what says is unholy? Man or God or Satan. You understand? Right? But the God he does is just a sex act, right? What's the difference? Consent. Sometimes you're making love and sometimes it's rape, right? What's the difference? Consent. See, you have the right to say no, gay or straight. So I'm trying to teach you that, right? You don't have to have sex with any man or every man either, right? And monogamy is about staying with one person sexually and living with that person, right? Basically, right? But see, the problem is, if he can black me out with you, right? And other women want some, right? And no one's around me during the day, there's 8 hours at night or more, right? And people usually go to bed around 11, right? Now, I'm writing this girl yesterday, right? And she's still up when I go to sleep. Figure that one out. I went straight to sleep, right? Didn't have a wet dream last night either, if that's any difference to you. And though I dreamt of Mr. Trump for some reason. That was weird. But maybe that's a sign to her. I don't know. Maybe we're talking about Trump and all that. I don't know. I ain't ever dreamed of Trump to now. Right. Doing something unholy, Lord, Lord, Lord. Mm-hmm. Well, all you trying to do is relate back to your female side and vice versa. Her to the male side. And that's what I'm trying to explain to them too. Satan's making everything do right or wrong, right? When it's just the opposite of what you think is normal or not normal, right? And of course, what you gonna do? Kill each other over it? I know, right? That's the whole point of everything, right? Sex is sex, and you do have your preferences, right? And like any addiction, right? Straight sex or gay sex, right? It can be addictive. If you do it right, if you do it right. It's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be feeling good or you're wasting your time, right? If it don't feel good, right? You wanted to come back for more with the rebel, yeah. Right, Billy? Right. More. Like the radio version, huh? I'll hear him live a lot, right? I know. This is the radio version. Yeah, I know. I told you that. But what do you think I have to base it off of the radio version? If you're an impersonator, you're impersonating based off of the radio version, right? Anyway. Told you that I would be singing in the car. Mom couldn't even tell I was singing on that mention. Even with the women, especially Heart, right? What about love? There it is. Don't you want someone to care about you? Well, like I said, I know you're game, and there's thousands of people in New York trying to get a job, right? I can't even worry about that. Alright, silly things, silly rabbit tricks made for kids. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Was that the wrong one? No, it's wanting to install it, right? Maybe. But do I have enough room, right? Oh, yeah. But I'm not, but I understand that there are people who forget, right? And Jesus died for their sin, even if they're still wrestling with it, right? Too. And they could have a deathbed confession too, right? After the thief on the cross, anyone can, Pastor Thomas. You're no longer under the wisdom of Satan, right? That condemns, right? That's Mrs. Satan's wisdom, right? I know, not God's that loves us unconditionally. See, it went from unconditional love to conditional love because we sinned with Satan and not the tree of life, right? It don't sin that way. Now, if Jesus became human, right, and had sex with the 7 women mentioned by Isaiah, right, and took away their reproach, which is also having a baby with them, right, they had sex. Unmarried sex, too, right? Even if he was married to another woman. Is that why he didn't stone her? Right, himself.